It's my pleasure today to introduce our second speaker, Bethany Weems. As most of you know, Bethany is our representative from the Rising Stars Toastmasters Club in the coming speech contest. And we have all heard an initial presentation from Bethany. She has worked to refine her speech and her presentation, and she's here to provide her speech to us again, much improved, and look for any feedback that you might have so she can provide the greatest speech possible at the competition next Thursday. So please welcome Bethany up to the lectern to give her speech.
We can have time at 5, 6, and 7. Good morning, Toastmasters, guests. You can make a difference. Sounds simple. Sounds almost childlike. You can make a difference. But it's so important, and I think in our lives, in our day-to-day lives, we aren't given a lot of opportunities to really think about what that means. In the world, there is hopelessness, child prostitution, abuse, and starvation. Do I sound like Sally Struthers? Do I want your money? Am I pleading with you to help orphans? Yes, in some ways. But when I think about this topic, when I think about orphans, and I think about pleading with people, I think, it makes sense, and I'll do that. And as a Toastmaster, as a person with my passions and my motivations, I think that makes a lot of sense. But there's also a responsibility. With great power, with great wealth comes great responsibility. And we all have a responsibility to think about the extremes. You know what it's like to not have a mom or a dad or have someone who cares about you, to not have a hope for the future. Do you know what it feels like to give that to someone? To give them, to be their guardian angel, to be their hope. And it's possible. And what I'm saying today is I have an opportunity for all of us to be able to help out. So April 14th, Saturday, at the Jackson Cascades Manor House, there is an event, and all of you have a brochure for Hope for Orphans. And this organization was started by John Drake, who was the Consumers Energy Senior Vice President of Human Resources, and while working for Consumers, went to the Philippines to work with their plant, and also became involved with the local orphanage, which at the time was a dilapidated pig slaughterhouse, open sewers, kids bathing, doing dishes in the old pig troughs. Not a pretty picture, but the best of what they had. What else are you going to do as an orphan? So John took it upon himself to make a whole rebuild, gather people, gather resources here in America, put together an event, a dinner, and a silent auction that would encourage people to take away the distraction of your everyday life. You have your job, you have your family, you have problems, and think about something huge, almost unthinkable. How do we help orphans on the opposite side of the planet? It's a hard thing, but John, who was equally as dumbfounded by this, found a way, made a miracle happen, built an orphanage, and this orphanage now is a facility that houses 100 boys and girls, 14 of which are in college, 2 of which will graduate, and this program has expanded. Now it's not just an orphanage, they also have a third Saturday soup kitchen that they've had upwards of 5,000 people come to. And through this, it's not just, oh, okay, we're helping one orphan, we're helping this one kid get food. These kids are going to be the future of the Philippines. They had nothing. They know what that feels like. They've been given an opportunity, and they're going to use that opportunity. And I think it's a great testament to what we can do as people, to what we can do as rising stars, looking beyond this room. It was exactly what Joy was saying, beyond what we think of here as our mission, but our greater mission as people. You know, and if maybe not just for this particular function or this organization, this is a great example of what can be done in the world. You know, Jeff gave us a great example last week, William Wilberforce. I mean, he fought for fighting against injustice and human rights and animal rights, but this is something that someone is doing that makes sense logistically, that we can contribute to. And we could make a statement as to who we are and what kind of group we are. Joy was talking to me last night. He said, you got to show the video. People have to see. You know, it's hard to say, oh, think of this orphan and think of this rice hut. And, you know, what does a squatter hut look like? What does that feel like to have 9 brothers and sisters and your parents desert you and there's a child that's 9 months old or looks like 9 months old but is actually 19 months old? I mean, how is that even possible? And of course, in our regular lives, we're padded from that. We don't really get a chance to think about those greater world issues. But what kind of statement would it be if we had a Rising Stars table at this event, and we all sat there with our plaque up, and we care? You know, we don't have unlimited amounts of time. All of our time is valuable. But when we get together, a small group of like-minded individuals can change the world. That's something Margaret Mead said. And that's the only thing that ever has changed the world. And I wonder if that's true, and I think it can be true. And I think that as people, as Toastmasters, as valuable members of society, it would be a great thing if you would join us in coming. And we have tickets. We'd love to have you there, or just help out in any way. Come to us with other ideas too. I think that's the purpose of our group. So how many times have you had an opportunity to make a difference? When was the last time you made a difference in someone's life? Here's another great opportunity. You can make a difference. You have the power to give hope, safety, love, and help to the people across on the other side of the world. Toastmasters, I invite you to make a difference today. Join us. Thank you.
We could have another minute for evaluations.